All it took was a single moment of victory. Suddenly, all the progress Goku had made with Kaioken was forgotten, and the truth between his all-powerful technique and Vegeta's godly new form was lost forever. It makes perfect sense, though. With this, we have to wonder if Vegeta's Super Saiyan Blue evolution can defeat Goku's now highest power, Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken times 20. And watching Toppo get eliminated by Vegeta's new power seemed to solve what's become our biggest question ever. Because Goku had barely made a scratch on this same fighter who hadn't even transformed into a god of destruction yet. But unfortunately, this comparison is majorly flawed. In 3 seconds, you can easily win up to $1,000 by instantly clicking the notification bell and watching the entire video fully until the end. 2. Check the pinned comment for giveaway link, and 1. Striving to uphold the name of his most loved Pride Troopers, Toppo was giving his all. Because in his eyes, this Saiyan was evil. The cause of his precious Universe 11 being at risk of getting erased forever.
の大会は第7宇宙の孫悟空さんの申し出により実現の運びとなりました。
With the determination of destroying this monster on the spot, Toppo revealed a power he was sure couldn't be matched. But the more he released, the more he also lit up Goku's desire to push himself even more. However, the Grand Priest had different plans. And we were forced to wait even longer before we would finally see what it looked like to multiply the Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken by 20. But if Goku didn't even get to use Kaioken times 10 against Toppo, then how was this fight ever even considered a comparison to Vegeta's win? In the debate between Goku and Vegeta's current forms as of Dragon Ball Super's end, there's really only one fight worthy of being used as a direct comparison.
Learn that? I suspect you'll be able to surpass your fellow warrior who always seems one step ahead. You mean Kakarot?
Becoming the strongest has always been the main motivation, pushing our two favorite Saiyans past their limits. But after realizing that Jiren was truly an undefeatable opponent, both Goku and Vegeta were left with a different, much stronger motivation instead. With these people meaning more to them than any power they could possibly attain, Goku and Vegeta did something we had never seen them do before. Even after having fused multiple times, we all still thought the day would never come that these two would willingly and gratefully set aside their pride. Breaking them into the very powers we're questioning ourselves about. But even though we finally have a fight that we can directly compare these exact forms, there's still something off. Finally seeing Vegeta develop his very own, unique form, we waited to see his first real moment of shine, a moment that actually never came. The more we watched them team up on Jiren, the more disappointing Vegeta's new form was looking. Sadly, it seemed this power was nothing more than completely equal to Goku's. So, is this the end for our biggest question ever? Is Vegeta's Super Saiyan Blue evolution really just equal to Goku's Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken times 20? Thing is, when it comes to calling someone the strongest, there are many more aspects to consider than just how hard they can punch or how fast they can run. We've clearly been looking at the wrong one. When he first fought against Vegeta, Goku chose to use a move that, due to its severe consequences, should have really only been used as a last resort. And after pushing it past the limits that King Kai had warned him not to,
Kaioken attack times 3! What? No! I told him not to go over a double! No matter what!
Goku's body showed us the price.
Awesome!
But it wasn't until Dragon Ball Super that we were able to see that this intense pain wasn't everything behind what makes Kaioken unbelievably dangerous to use. Finding Hit to be an opponent worthy of higher power, Goku had finally managed the impossible.
Now I'll show you the Kaioken! I pulled it off. All the power of Super Saiyan Blue intensified with the Kaioken technique.
But what stood out even more than his ability to do so was why he had even attempted it.
I'd messed this up even a little. My energy would have run out of control, and with this much of it, I would have been toast. But
with that, we could finally understand why Goku had never applied it to a Super Saiyan form before, except for only once. What really stands out about this fight, though, is that Goku was already in the afterlife. With no risk of losing his life, why not go all out? But against Hit, Goku was alive. And soon, another huge risk of pairing these two powers showed its ugly face.
Why can't I turn around? It's like my body stopped listening to me. Go that way!
Being that these symptoms were far from anything a normal human would ever go through, Goku had only one person who could help.
Oh, I know. Why don't you ask King Kai? I bet he's seen this before.
And after a visit to King Kai's, Goku was forced to face the consequences of his previous beyond risky actions.
Late onset energy disorder, or DOED. And what's that mean? Well, it's where you lose the ability to control your energy.
This was a disorder that only time could heal. But what was even worse is that during this time of rest, Goku would not be allowed to fight at all. Doing so would make the damage permanent.
If you keep straining yourself, the connections between your body, mind, and energy will unravel, and you won't be able to fight at all.
After dealing with all these consequences, you'd think Goku would be hesitant to use it again, especially with the lives of his entire universe being on the line. But he did. Multiple times. After years of avoiding using Kaioken on top of a Super Saiyan form, what made him so confident in doing it now? And why is this important to understand in the first place? Because the answer to this question actually also holds the answer to whether or not he can defeat Vegeta's Super Saiyan Blue evolution. The difference in his fight against Hit is that Goku wasn't using Kaioken on top of just any Super Saiyan form. He was pairing it specifically with Super Saiyan Blue, the most energy-conserving form Saiyans have ever attained. Being that Super Saiyan forms and Kaioken both make Goku's energy go wild, it was always way too risky to use them together. But with the calmness of a god's energy, Goku was finally able to focus completely on controlling the wildness of Kaioken alone. And these same effects are what also show us the true power of Vegeta's new form, after maxing out the limits of his new form. Vegeta knew there was only one option left. Having seen the same attack before, Vegeta's friends couldn't bear to find what they already knew was left of him. But when their worst fears were proven wrong, we were all given a huge revelation. Not only had Super Saiyan Blue evolution not harmed Vegeta in any way, but it had actually protected him. But unfortunately, as opposite from Kaioken as this is, we still can't fully decide which Saiyan would win in a one-on-one battle. Because there's one amazing ability of Kaioken that Goku has unlocked time and time again. This is a technique that can be improved on by miles. Originally, Kaioken was only supposed to be a quick boost in power. It was never meant to be used for a long amount of time. But after we kept seeing him use this technique throughout the Tournament of Power, we could see that this was an aspect Goku had already significantly improved. However, that doesn't mean he can use it forever. With no other way out, Goku was forced to keep pushing against the almighty Jiren. But his body couldn't ignore the consequences. Not only had he already been using Kaioken for a long period of time, but he had pushed it all the way to the very max that had once been interrupted. Finally, the drain on his energy proved to be too much. And after running on his instinct alone, we were able to see just how much energy the Kaioken x20 technique required, even with Goku using his most energy-conserving form ever. Only after being given the time to work up through his multiple forms was Goku able to reach his Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken x20 again. And after watching Vegeta use an attack just as draining, Beerus saw a huge problem. The relief Vegeta's friends felt after seeing that he had survived actually meant nothing at all. And just like Goku, having lost all energy wasn't enough to keep him away from Jiren. But there was something that separated Vegeta from his lifetime rival. How was this possible? Unlike Goku, Vegeta didn't need any time at all to reach his new power again. It was instantaneous. The true difference? Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken x20 and Super Saiyan Blue Evolution might be equal to each other in raw strength, speed, and effectiveness. But that will never make up for the fact that Kaioken is a technique, and Vegeta's new form is just that, a form. In a one-on-one battle between these two Saiyans, their punches would be on par. But as time goes on, Kaioken times 20 would drain Goku of his energy, and his body would start to break down. On the other hand, being a mere advancement to their most energy-saving form ever, Super Saiyan Blue evolution would keep Vegeta going. And even with the strongest of attacks capable of pulling him straight back into base form, instantly, the Prince would be right back in it again. So, can we finally and honestly say that Vegeta has surpassed Goku?